In the last video, I talked about the June 1860 Huxley-Wilberforce debate that took place in the Oxford University Museum of Natural History, a building that was built and completed around 1857, 1858, but for those intervening 3 years between when it was finished and when the debate happened, it was bare because there's really nothing in the original plans for any type of ornamentation. So John Ruskin, John Phillips, and Benjamin Woodward rallied their colleagues and raised funds to have the interior and exterior finished with stone carvings. Those funds were used to bring the brothers James and John O'Shea over from Ireland, as well as the O'Shea's cousin, Edward Whelan. Now, John Ruskin's view was that the carvers, as all artists, should be given a bit of direction but allowed great freedom to determine the design for themselves. And for the interior pillar capitals, that's what the three masons did. They are carved as in the shape of plants, and the carvers ignored the drawings that were prepared for them and instead went and picked plants directly from the botanical gardens in Oxford and carved directly from what they saw. Well, later, Ruskin, for whatever reason, backtracked on this as he was unhappy with the results. He said, "I no more meant that a mason could carve a capital by merely looking at a leaf than a painter could paint a Madonna by merely looking at a young lady. And when I said that the workman should be left free to design his work as he went on, I never meant that you could secure a great natural monument of art by letting loose the first lively Irishman you could get a hold of to do what he liked in it." Which are terrible and unfortunate words about these three incredible artists. John Phillips, one of the other leaders of the project, wanted the museum to be a teaching tool. So the interior carvings would be done on pillars that are from different types of stone that you can find around Britain, and the carvings, the plants that they were carvings, represented different botanical orders. Then towards the end of their time in 1859, they carved what became known as the cat window. It's the second window on the right at the top. And then below it's the Ruskin window, which was sponsored directly from a donation by John Ruskin. James O'Shea carved both of them. They both appear slightly odd because the surrounding windows have no similar decoration. Well, there are two stories about these windows. The first story is that John Ruskin was very involved in his window, that the window is based on his drawings, and that he joined James O'Shea on the scaffolding to manage its creation at times. The other story, which starts out mostly true, is that James originally proposed carving monkeys in the top window. The Reverend, who was the master of the University College, intervened in the plan, claiming monkeys inferred an acceptance of Darwinism. So, Charles Darwin's book on evolution had just come out. So there exists a sketch by James of the monkey window, so this much is true, and it's possible that James knew he was going for a bit of a raw nerve by suggesting it in the first place. But Darwin's theory was immediately used by a generation of scientists to declare that humans and monkeys are descended from the same ancestors. So this part of the story may have become particularly popular because a few months later, as we talked about in the last video, the building was used for to host the Huxley-Wilberforce debate about evolution. And at that time, Oxford, and this building in particular, were shaking with the tension of a place that's dedicated to learning and the advancement of human knowledge on the one hand, but also had, on the other hand, an 800-year-old history that was deeply rooted and is still currently rooted in tradition and theology. So they asked James to change the monkeys into cats. That much is true. Then the story, sort of, as it's told, diverges from the truth, that he was so insulted by the request that he stormed off. The brothers were fired and went back to Ireland. Well, that part is a fabrication, but it does show that the deeper truth behind it, of how electrified everybody in Oxford was about the theory of evolution in 1859 and the subsequent years. Well, coming back to the interior pillars, they are, that's where the real work was done. There's 30 of them around the outside of the lower court. So as you come in through the main entrance, which is in the west wall of the building, the sequence of the 30 starts with the pillar furthest to your right, and then it goes sort of back in front of the main entrance, around to the left, and then sort of clockwise around the north wall, the east wall, and then back down the south wall to the bottom corner. And I could stand for hours and look at these pillars. The detail, the artistry, the craftsmanship, the allegiance to the truths of the natural world. The stone is shaped like clay in their hands. And just, it's incredible to stand there and watch how the morning light creates depth and shadows through the stone. Well, James, John, and Edward all worked on the stone, the capitals at the top of these pillars. All of the pillars have a life to them. There's movement, hidden details, leaves twist and turn. Birds and dragonflies dart out of the stone. They are just full of charm and surprise. Well, I'm going to step through the 30. These are from some photos I took one morning in the morning light, visiting the museum in 2024. So starting with number 1 and then going around through number 30. The first is water plantain with woodcock, crayfish, and frogs. Number 2, flowering rushes with birds and dragonflies. Number 3 is a date palm with a snake and a bird. Number 4 is a coconut palm. Number 5 is a pickerel weed with a bird. Number 6 is a bouquet of lilies and tulips. This one is one of the more famous ones because it was one of the benefactors of this work had asked to contribute a bouquet, drew the bouquet as she wanted it, and of course the cousins ignored the drawing and did it as they wanted to do it. Number 7 is a screw pine. Number 8, bur reeds. Number 9 is a dragon arum. Number 10, an arum lily. Number 11, sedge. Number 12, wheat, barley, oats, maize, sugarcane, and sparrows. Number 13, golden leather fern. Number 14, ferns with a moth, frogs, a snake, and a bat. Number 15, fern or tall grass with animals. Number 16, a blue cycad. Number 17, red cedar. Number 18, a Norwegian spruce. Number 19, a monkey puzzle tree. Number 20 is an English yew. And yew trees are quite prevalent in this area of the Cotswolds. They are famously present in church graveyards in particular. Number 21, sarsaparilla with two birds. Number 22, a black bryony. Number 23, orchid. Number 24, banana leaves. Number 25, a prayer plant. Number 26, ginger. Number 27, irises. Number 28, wild daffodils. Number 29, amaryllis. And finally, number 30, pineapples. Well, all of this talk of monkeys carved into stone makes me think of a church a few miles north of here, which we'll visit in the next video. See you then.